You're walking down a hallway at night. The lights are off. You don't know why, but your heart rate just spiked. Nothing is there. You checked. But your brain doesn't believe you. The real answer is far stranger than fear of the dark. Your brain isn't broken. It's still running software built for a world that hasn't existed in 12,000 years. Think about the last time you felt a chill on the back of your neck for no reason. Or the last time you jumped at a sound that turned out to be nothing. That reaction didn't come from you. It came from someone else. Someone who lived, hunted, and died long before written language existed. And somehow, their nervous system is still steering yours. Here's the part most people never learn in school. For roughly 2 million years, hominins lived as prey as much as predators. Early humans shared the landscape with leopards, saber-toothed cats, hyenas, and crocodiles large enough to drag a grown man underwater. Anthropologist Donna Hart spent years studying predation patterns on early hominins, and her research suggests a startling number of early human ancestors were hunted, not hunting. Bite marks on fossilized skulls, claw scrapes on ancient bones, evidence buried in caves for over 1 million years. That changes everything about how you should think about fear. Fear wasn't a flaw in early humans. It was the entire operating system. The humans who survived long enough to have children were the ones who flinched first, who froze at a rustling bush, who felt that prickle of dread before they even understood why. The calm ones, the ones who shrugged off strange sounds in the dark, simply didn't pass on their genes as often. Over hundreds of thousands of generations, fear got refined, sharpened, built deeper into the architecture of the brain than logic ever could be. Your amygdala, the almond-shaped cluster of neurons sitting deep in your brain, is the descendant of that refinement. It doesn't wait for your conscious mind to analyze a threat. It reacts first and asks questions later. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux mapped this pathway decades ago and called it the low road. Sound enters your ears. Within milliseconds, before your visual cortex has even finished processing what you're looking at, your amygdala has already triggered a stress response. Adrenaline, cortisol, tunnel vision. Your body is preparing to run before your mind even knows what it's running from. That's why a shadow shaped like a person can make you gasp, even after your eyes correct the mistake half a second later. Now picture an early human standing at the edge of a forest at dusk. The wind shifts, and a smell carries. Musk, sweat. Something large moving through brush. Every cell in that person's body goes still. Not from intellect. From instinct passed down through ancestors who survived because they froze instead of investigated. Stillness meant survival. Curiosity meant becoming someone else's meal. You inherited that same circuitry. Every single one of us did. Here's where it gets stranger. Modern threats almost never look like the threats your brain evolved to detect. You're not being stalked by leopards anymore. You're sitting at a desk, staring at a glowing rectangle, reading a message from your boss that says, "We need to talk." And somehow, your palms sweat. Your stomach tightens. Your brain treats an ambiguous email with the same chemical alarm system once reserved for a predator in tall grass. Why would evolution do that to you? Because evolution never optimized for happiness. It optimized for survival. And a brain that's slightly too cautious lives longer than a brain that's too relaxed. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman, working alongside Amos Tversky, demonstrated something similar in their research on loss aversion. Humans feel the sting of a potential loss roughly twice as intensely as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. That asymmetry isn't a personality quirk. It's an ancient survival bias, miscalibrated for a world made of spreadsheets instead of predators. Your ancestors who underreacted to danger didn't get a second chance to learn from their mistake, so your nervous system erred permanently on the side of paranoia. And it still does. Walking alone to your car at night, hearing footsteps behind you on an empty street, feeling your stomach drop when a stranger online sends an angry message. None of these are life-threatening in the way a stalking predator was. But your body doesn't know the difference. It fires the same alarm bells regardless of whether the threat is a tiger or a tweet. This is where the science gets genuinely unsettling. Researchers studying hypervigilance in modern environments have found that chronic low-level stressors like financial uncertainty, social rejection, or constant notifications can keep the amygdala in a near-permanent state of low-grade alert. Your prehistoric alarm system wasn't built for an environment with thousands of micro-threats.